Hey, yo, everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review. And do you know what today is? Today is Wednesday, the best day of the week. You know why? Because it's comic book day. And that means that today we're going to be reviewing my comic load for the week. So there's really no special introductions that we need to do. Let's just jump right into things. We got a change this week. Now Batman is going to be in on week 2 instead of week 3. So let us talk about Batman first. Batman issue number 9, a continuation of the Night of the Owl story arc that we've been getting. So where we last left off, Bruce and Alfred kind of send out the message to everyone in the Batman family to beware the Court of Owls. They're coming in to assassinate everyone. And Batman puts this big mech armor on. Maybe mech armor isn't the right word, but power armor to fight these Talons, these assassins for the Court of Owls. And that is the big majority for this issue. Batman is fighting the Talons, and he's pulling off all the stops, everything he has. The great thing about these Talons is they're really kind of zombies, so ethically he can decap them, and it wouldn't be considered killing them. They're reanimated bodies, so they're not really alive. They're technically dead. So, anyways, Batman pulls off all the shots, and there's some pretty good moments in this with Batman trying to, do some smart thinking. And really, the whole entire issue is just him holding off the Court of Owls until Alfred can bring the temperature down and Batman can take them out. This also leads into Detective Comics issue number 9, which was last week, which is kind of surprising that they did it like so. Detective Comics story should have came afterwards, but then again, that's how the comics are getting released. The backup issue in this, or the backup story, is that of Alfred's father and his connection with the Court of Owls. So let's get into the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Well, there's really no point in talking about bad because this was a fantastic issue. The art was great, the fighting was great, the dialogue was good, the tension that was building was good. The internal dialogue was good. It was just on a whole a good comic, and I really was actually intrigued by the second story too, on how Alfred's father ties into the Court of Owls and how he blames himself for everything that's going on. So on a whole, I mean, this should be no surprise by now with Scott Snyder's run on Batman, 5 out of 5 stars, really good. You know what's really funny about me buying this? I get as many variant covers as I can. I even get the combo pack with the digital code, which I never use. That's because I want all the variant covers. So, Batman, 5 out of 5. Next, we're jumping into Batman and Robin issue number 9. Again, tie into the Night of the Owls. Damian basically has to go help a Major Burroughs, or Captain Burroughs, I forget his rank, but he's part of the army, and the Court of Owls want to take him out because he has significant claim to land that the Court of Owls actually have control over. So it's Robin's mission to protect them. The great thing about this issue is that Robin acts as though he's a general. Um, he has to take control of this commander's men and use them against the Talon. So good. The dialogue with Damien was pretty nice. I do like how Damien was coordinating things like a general, and it really allows Damien to unleash and let loose because Damien's a very violent person. So this is a good outlet for him. Bad. The only bad I can really say about this is just the fact that and I think a lot of people, cannot believe in any way, shape, or form that our good United States government, its army, would take orders from a 10-year-old boy. There is no way I can believe that. But, putting suspension of disbelief aside, this was still a pretty good issue. Batman and Robin has been a fun series thus far. I'll give this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Really fun stuff. Moving on to the last tie-in to Night of the Owls for this week, which would be Batgirl issue number 9. Same thing, Batgirl has to deal with a Talon assassin. Um, and it also deals with her father, too. The Court of Owls kind of manipulating her father into doing their whim, into doing their work, threatening her life in the process. And really, it's just that. James Gordon being torn from all directions with the Court of Owls saying one thing and him in his duty, and then Barbara having to go out and take on this assassin and fighting someone clearly better than her. Because as good as a fighter Barbara is, she's more of a thinker. She's more of an acrobat than anything. I mean, she can hold her own in a fight, but she's not quite Batman or Nightwing or Black Canary. So going up against the Talon is quite a bit of challenge for her, and it ends off on an interesting note. Um, Technically, you should read this before Batman issue number 9, but it's not necessary. It's just one key plot point with Commissioner Gordon gets brought up in Batman issue number 9 that happens in this. So it really comes down to your discretion. I always read Batman first when I get it for the week, so it didn't really spoil anything for me. Bad. I felt at the beginning of the story there was a bit of exposition, a little dialogue, a bit of a story about a young girl in China painting and making these balloons that eventually get used as weapons, bombs, for lack of a better term. I think they strapped cherry bombs to them, but other things, and it does connect to everything. I can see why they did it, but I don't know. I when I first started reading it, I get this connection to this character that I thought was going to be the Talon, but didn't turn out to be the Talon, and it felt like a lot of effort was put into establishing this character for the issue, and she never shows up. Only her art of war shows up. So other than that, it was a decent issue. I'm gonna stick with a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It didn't, another thing that did bother me is the fact that Gordon was so torn on what to do. I know his daughter was threatened, but I think Gordon would find a way around it because it's Gordon. He kind of just sat there and let things happen. I think his call to duty is more important to him than anything. Even though his family is technically just as important, I don't see him being a guy getting bullied around. So 3.5 out of 5 stars. Good issue. Not quite as good as the other two Batman issues, but still good. Here we go. Deathstroke, the Terminator, issue number 9. Rob Liefeld is jumping on as not only the artist, but also the writer. Yes, our good friend Rob Liefeld. I don't hate Rob Liefeld as much as a lot of people. How about I talk about Rob for a second here? I don't hate him like a lot of people. I can clearly see why people dislike him, but I think it's mostly because I haven't had enough exposure to Rob Liefeld to really dislike him. I've seen his drawings from here to there, but it wasn't until I actually started reading the New 52 that I really got any huge exposure to him. Hey, that's just how the cookie crumbles. So I don't hate him, but I don't prefer him over others. One thing I can definitely say about Rob Liefeld that he does have is he embodies 90s comics, for ill or for good. He just does that. But he's jumping on to several comics I'm reading, and two of which in particular that I love to death, which are Deathstroke and Hawkman. The character-wise, Hawkman hasn't been a good comic, but and I'm concerned about these comics. So let's see if my concern was I should have had my concerns. Should I have said my concerns should have been warranted? I don't know. Anyways, the issue is pretty plain, flat, simple. Deathstroke gets attacked by a bunch of assassins, but they're really just testing him because they want to offer him a job, and the job is to capture Lobo. If you don't know who Lobo is like DC's parody of Wolverine done right. Lobo is an alien bounty hunter who can't die at all. The only way to kill him is to be killed by his own race, and they are all dead because he blew them up for a science fair project. He gave himself an A. I'm not kidding. That's literally his backstory. He blew up everyone on his planet for a science fair project. He gave himself an A. I love Lobo, so I was actually kind of intrigued on how things were going to go about introducing Lobo into this and also introducing Deathstroke and having the two of them go against each other because Deathstroke has been very much rooted in realism, despite the fact that he's a super soldier, where Lobo is, well, of course, an alien. So it seems a little off. Good. I felt as though the I felt as though Rob Liefeld didn't do a bad job at capturing Deathstroke dialogue wise. I felt internally he made Deathstroke kind of a sap. Like Deathstroke kept on mourning about his wife's death. Deathstroke really doesn't give a shit about anyone. Let's be honest. He's a sociopath. But he really kind of tried to turn Deathstroke into a sympathetic character in that way. But putting that aside, he had a decent voice for Deathstroke. Um, Drawing wise, the art isn't as bad as Rob Liefeld can go. Actually, the art was okay in this. I didn't hate it at all. It's better than Hawk and Dove, and Hawk and Dove's art was meh. So I guess that's good also. The story intrigues me, and I'm intrigued on how Lobo is going to be used in this, and I'm actually interested to see the fight between the two of them. Bad. Well, like I said, he tried to paint out Deathstroke to be a sympathetic character. I don't want Deathstroke to be sympathetic. I want my cold-blooded sociopathic murderers to be that. Cold-blooded sociopathic murderers. I want Deathstroke to go around, tear off people's arms, and not give two lickings about it because it's Deathstroke. He is called Deathstroke the Terminator. He's not called Deathstroke the Hug Giver. He's Deathstroke the Terminator. So, yeah, I thought that was a little off. I like the fact that they made mention to his wife. She's only been mentioned beforehand in I think issue 6, but still, it was good that they made mention to her. Um, I find it funny that these people that had Lobo contained knew so much about Lobo, like his race and his powers and abilities. And I can understand you getting some of that by testing him, but like, how do they know he's a Saurian or however you say his race's name? How do they know that? I mean, they have some other aliens there, but do they really know? I mean, how do you know this stuff? They just found him in New Mexico and they held him prisoner, unless he said something. One other good thing I want to say is the fight scene with Lobo escaping is brutal. He punches his hand through someone's head. It's kind of like when Black Adam two finger poke to the eye. What's his name? Oh my God. I forget. In Infinite Crisis, I can't believe Psycho Pirate. It was actually pretty good in that. It was funny with that. Uh, but yeah, you see some of the standard. Another bad is you see some of the standard stuff that Rob Liefeld does that annoys me. Feet feel a little off. Some of the characters have ridiculous '90s costumes. Well, Deathstroke actually was drawn pretty well. There's one woman that shows up, which unnecessarily has her thighs exposed and has these huge shoulder pads and then the skin tight costume. She's supposed to be some kind of bounty hunter. It's very 90s-ish and is very unnecessary. Um, Other than that, Deathstroke was not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but not as good as the potential it could have lived up to. Uh, in comparing to Rob Liefeld's other stuff with the New 52, it's better, but it's still not great. Maybe I'm being generous here, but I'll give it a 3 out of 5 because I did get some enjoyment out of it. In the end, that's what matters. Maybe Deathstroke is a safe place for Rob Liefeld to go because he doesn't have to. I mean, it's very 90-ish, and it kind of works there. I'm not defending Rob, just saying it wasn't that bad. Next, we're gonna do a two for here: Superboy issue number 9 and Legion Lost issue number 9, which is part 2 and part 3 of the Culling. These basically pick up where we left off with Teen Titans Annual issue number 1, which was part 1 of the story. Duh. Basically, what happens in this is the Harvest shows up and the Titans fight him, and they fight also his Ravengers. Issue 9 of Superboy was the fight with the Ravengers, and issue 9 with Legion Lost is with the Harvest shows up. The Harvest is actually an interesting villain, and I'm curious to see his backstory. I think he's from the future, but he's actually pretty interesting. He looks very intimidating and almost hellish. Um, Superboy was better than Legion Lost, and I only got Legion Lost for the crossover. I won't be picking up any more Legion Lost. But Superboy was better. Legion Lost was meh. Um, there was some good fight scenes, some interesting stuff, good character interactions, and I like the teams working together. What I didn't like is I felt as though there was way too much dialogue in Legion Lost. Like, way too much. The shining point of Legion Lost was Fairchild's fight with well, I can't call her Ravager, with Rose Wilson, but yeah, on the whole, together, it starts off solid with part 2, but part 3 was kind of just long and dragged on. And when I was with my fiance and she was on the computer, the majority of my time reading was trying to go through Legion Lost because it was just kind of a bore. So on a whole, I'll give these two together also a 3 out of 5. Superboy I would give like a 3.5 out of 5, but Legion Lost I give a 2.5 out of 5. So we round that out. It's a 3, isn't it? I think it's a 3. We're almost at the end. Last two comics. We have Demonites issue number 9, where we last left off. The Demonites were going to New Camelot because apparently there's many different Camelots. And surprisingly, Etrigan is out during the whole entire time. It isn't until the end that he's sent back to hell. Um, and we got basically plot set up for the next story. There was a murder, and the murder was Merlin, and it's up to the Demonites to bring him to Avalon, or I forget the name of the island, but bring him there so he can recover because he's not really dead, but he is dead. But there's a chance you could save him, and all that stuff in between because it's magic, and magic's the answer for everything. Uh, Whenever something happens, a wizard did it. So every member of the Demon Knight has their own agenda when it comes down to this. Good. One of Demon Knight's strongest thing is his character interactions in the small little moments. The interactions here and there with certain characters, Vandal Savage with Al Jabbar, I believe is his name. You know, the rogue. I like also the Shining Knight talking to her horse or his horse or whatever they're trying to pretend to be, whatever gender they are today. I thought that was actually pretty fun too. The Pegasus can talk. The Pegasus is relaying information from the horsewoman's horse to Shining Knight, so that was pretty good. Um, yeah, it's a good setup issue, but it's a setup issue. So, in saying that, I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. Good setup issue. Nothing really bad to say about it. It's just a little boring because it is that setup. Now we're on to the last comic, and that will be Green Lantern issue number 9, part 3 to the Secret of the Indigo Tribe. And finally, we're getting answers of who the Indigo Tribe are, what they do, and where they came from. I'm not going to reveal exactly what it is, but Hal Jordan finds out all the secrets of the Indigo Tribe, why they were made, and I guess there's something bigger than the Blackest Night coming that will destroy the core. And it was up to the Indigo Tribe to kind of stop them, or at least the Indigo Tribes were the first step in stopping them. Making it sound more confusing than it is because it's really not confusing. But yes, this sets up the big event or big whatever that they're setting up with the Guardians. We also see a bit of Abin Sur in here. Um, they say it's drowning in the madness of Black Mask or Black Hand. Black Hand. I don't know why I said Black Mask. Maybe I have a little Black Mask on my mind, but Black Hand really doesn't show up at all in this. I think he shows up for a panel and that's it. Good. I like how we got more information. I like the background to the Indigo Tribe, and I like Abin Sur's connection to the Indigo Tribe. I also like the fact that Blackest Night wasn't the biggest thing that will happen to the Green Lanterns. There's always something else coming. Bad. I can't really say there's anything bad. It just didn't kind of blow me away. It's nothing that was just like, whoa, dude, bro. But it was still a good issue. 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's enjoyable. Pick it up. Green Lantern started to pick up with this story. So that is the comics for this week. Also came out this week was Grifter issue number 9, but I put it in my box. I didn't pick it up. I'll read it whenever. I'm only picking up Grifter because eventually it's going to cross over with Superman and Stormwatch, and I read both of those. So, yes, that is the comics for this week. Which one did I enjoy the most? I think everyone knows, but I will talk about it in my Andrew Carter Pick of the Week video. I have some news and updates and an important announcement in my next Andrew Carter Pick of the Week video, which will probably be done tomorrow. So I'm going to end this video here. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.